Hey folks, Thomas here. Welcome back to Mears Lab. In today's episode, we are going to have a look at this power switch that failed pretty fantastically inside of a bass amp that I'm working on right now. Let's start the video by taking a closer look at the switch and talking about how it actually failed. So here's the different parts and how it goes together. First of all, here's the body of it right here, and then this part goes in there. And there's like a little tab right there, and then they fit inside these little holes right there in the body. So it goes in like that. And then this is the cover plate that goes over the top of it like that. And then inside of it, this little piece right here goes down in there. And then this metal tab right here sticks out the bottom like that one. So it would kind of stick out that hole right there. Then this piece right here, this is what was the failure point. This is supposed to be attached on there. I'm not sure if it goes like that or like that, but it's supposed to be attached to this piece of metal right there. But notice that it is not, and that is a clue as to what failed on this power switch here, and what also fails on lots of other power switches. As the switch gets used over many, many years, it gets flicked back and forth many times. And you know, switches aren't indestructible. They do have a lifespan to them, and they have sort of a total number of actuations. I think that's sort of the fancy word that they use for it in the business. Anyhow, and this is what they're sort of literally talking about right here, is inside of this switch there is a little moving part, or a couple of moving parts generally. And they're not all exactly the same, but many of them operate sort of on the same general principle here. There's usually like two metal parts, and then when you move a switch, it usually bends a piece of metal so that it touches another piece of metal, and therefore it connects the two little tabs here, and therefore you can like pass current through it, or you can like flick the switch the other way and then stop current from going through the switch. And that's generally how it works, okay? So what it does is this sort of rocker switch bends, and it has this little protrusion right here, and that pushes on this little metal tab here, and then that bends it, and then it hits another little piece of metal down in there, which is kind of hard to see. Let's zoom right in there so you can. There you go. Yeah, you can see there's a little piece of metal down in there, and then it bends it so that it can touch that one. Yeah, but over many years, the metal, you know, it gets worn down, and eventually what happens is the metal, it starts to sort of get some sort of weak points in it, and it begins to develop some fractures in the metal, like some small little cracks and some weak points. And then eventually, as it starts bending more and many more times over many more actuations, it eventually those cracks get bigger and bigger until there's eventually only a little bit of metal holding on. And remember, in some pieces of equipment, these power switches are actually passing quite a lot of current. Like in this amplifier, it's a pretty big amplifier. It's a Trainer Monoblock 2. Yeah, it's a Trainer Monoblock 2, and I think it can pull something like 800 watts from the wall or something like that, you know? So it's putting a lot of current through this switch. And, you know, eventually as the metal wears down and there's only a little bit left, there's just not enough metal left to hold that much current. And then you get like, well, you get fireworks. It just like glows red, and it catches on fire, and then it breaks, and then there's only a teeny tiny little bit of metal holding on it, and then all of a sudden you get all these sparks, and it catches on fire, and the switch goes out in fantastic fashion. And basically, yeah, that is how power switches fail, and that's exactly what happened to this one. And I thought that might be kind of fun to make a video about it. So in order to describe it a little bit better, I think I'm gonna pull out a piece of paper and my favorite pencil here, which is a Staedtler Norica 132-46. Oh yeah, That's a real nice pencil right here. Okay, so let's draw what the switch looks like. And this is going to be like a side-on view, so sort of like that sort of a situation, okay? So here is the body of the switch, and there's the rocker here. Now, forgive my artistic skills here, you know, I unfortunately wasn't able to get into art school, so, you know, we're just going to have to make do. Okay, so there's one of the tabs, and there's the other one right there. Now, you can't see it right here because I've pulled it out of the switch. I took a pair of pliers and I just pulled it out. But that's normally what it would look like. Okay, so here is the inside of the switch right here, and this is where this tab here goes into the body, and it looks like that. Now, the other one that's missing right here would normally go like this, and then it sort of has a bend right here, and it has a little bump right there, and then it kind of goes like that, sort of a situation, okay? Now, this rocker switch, it's got those little round tabs right there, so as it rocks back and forth, it's got this little protrusion right here, and that sort of goes down in there like that, okay? So let's just sort of draw that sort of like that. Okay, and so as you rock the switch back and forth, it moves this protrusion here, and then that causes this piece of metal to go up or down. And then this right here is the weak point that gets the stress fractures over time, and then that is where it breaks. And you can see that's exactly where this one broke. So this piece of metal would go there, and then this one would go right there. And you can see the little bump on there, you know, and it would go like that, sort of a situation. Yeah, and then it would break like that. And there you have it, folks. That is how power switches fail, or at least one of the many magical ways that power switches can fail. I hope you all found that interesting. If you did, then don't forget to hit the like button, and you can also subscribe to the Mears Lab channel for more. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.